If we had teachers and coaches focused on when they see those moments that someone is demonstrating one of those traits that we so want to build up in our kids, like kindness or generosity or patience, to point it out and say it, that's going to grow it. And I would contend that even it's really important for parents to do it, but when kids hear those kind of affirmations from another adult who gets to know them, it's really powerful. Hello and welcome to the Sunshine Parenting Podcast, where each week we talk about ideas for raising kids who become thriving adults. I'm your host, Audrey Monkey. I'm a summer camp director, writer, and speaker, and I've had the privilege of working with thousands of children, teenagers, young adult counselors, and parents over the past 3 decades. My husband, Steve, and I are raising 5 kids who currently range in age from 15 to 25. So my interest in raising kind, optimistic, self-reliant kids who become thriving adults is personal as well as professional. Hi, Sunshine Parenting listeners. Welcome to this week's episode. This is episode 115 of the Sunshine Parenting Podcast. And I am chatting once again with my friend Sara Kuljis. And this time we're talking about meaningful ways to affirm our kids. So how we can compliment them to help them really grow into their best selves. Welcome to this episode of the Sunshine Parenting Podcast. I am so excited to have my most frequent, almost now co-host, Sara Kuljis with me again. Welcome, Sara.
It is so fun to be back. Thanks, Audrey.
We have many more episodes that we have planned, so this will not be nearly the last time that you're on the podcast. So today we're actually talking about a topic. You and I did this Raise Thriving Kids workshop. We had so much fun in September. We spent the whole day with some parents. You want to tell people about that?
Well, sure. It was really a delight. We spent about 6.5 hours with parents covering all kinds of topics, from thinking through family values and the pace of life, all the way to positive parenting tools and a whole bunch of take-home resources. And since that time, we have been having bi-monthly Zoom phone calls just to check in and encourage each other. It's really been a wonderful journey with these parents.
Oh my gosh, it really has. And we're ready to go on the road or do this again. And they asked us, it was usually one spouse. We had one dad and 15 moms, and they all said it would be good to have like an evening thing. So we're working on that too. So we'll keep you posted on upcoming events, but we actually did a whole day live together and had so much fun. And actually today's topic came from that, because one of the things that you covered that day that was very meaningful to me and such a great reminder was what you call, well, it was about affirmations and focusing on our kids' strengths, something that you call level 3 affirmations. So I want, first of all, a question that I had, and I haven't asked you this before. Did you make up this name?
Yes, we did. And it came from, as we were considering how do we teach college-age camp staff to see and call out strengths in their campers. We wanted to come up with a process where they could more regularly and more deeply develop the habit of affirming real character qualities that matter, and that the children could go home with knowing that they have this gold within them. And so we divided it into level 1, 2, and 3 affirmations, and that was 22 years ago. And it has actually enhanced my own parenting and my own friendships simply by developing the muscle for affirming deeply.
Oh, I just love it. And I think, oh my gosh, of course I'm going to steal it and use it with our counselors this summer.
Please.
But it's really been, it's a great way how you articulated what we've been teaching our counselors, which is we want you, like, we'll tell especially like the female counselors, we really want to refrain from commenting on, clothes and hair.
You
and
look so pretty.
Yes. And we didn't have like good language around that. We were saying we want to focus on inner qualities, we would say. And so we talked about inner strengths, and we had this activity that we did. And so we were trying to communicate the same thing, but the way you teach it, I feel like is so clear. And you can actually then really in your mind understand that it's okay to give all the kinds of affirmations. They're all fine to give. But let's remember that the ones that really are the most meaningful to receive and will kind of move the needle on our kids understanding their strengths are those level 3 ones. So why don't you first explain what a level 1 affirmation, or actually, can you just say what an affirmation is? Because some people don't use that word.
Another word you could use is a compliment. But there was something about an affirmation that seemed to be more deep and more long lasting than, oh, she compliments a lot, or hey, give me a compliment. Affirmation somehow seemed more substantive and more authentic. And so we went with affirmation. And also in quality camp settings, it really is kind of part of camp culture to build an affirming environment that looks at the best of the individuals within it. And so that made more sense too, to be levels of affirmation rather than levels of compliments.
I love that. And it just does seem, for whatever reason, it seems deeper. You know, the word makes it sound, I don't know, better. Okay. So you've kind of like defined affirmations for us. So now talk to us about level 1 affirmations.
Sure. Well, level 1 would be the easiest, the least deep, perhaps the most common kind of compliments or affirmations that we can give a camper or each other. And these are words that really convey that there is worth, value, and importance in one's possessions or one's physical appearance. For example, we might say to a child, you have beautiful hair. Or we might say to a child, that's a really cool new skateboard. I've affirmed that I've noticed and put value in the way they look or something they have. And there are times that this is really important, especially when a camper will wash up and clean up and, you know, put on a clean shirt for dinner. I want to note that and compliment that. It's really important with your own kids and, you know, and spouses to notice when they've dressed up for a special occasion. So there's reasons for that. But if you think about two things, if that's as deep as we go, we do communicate that the only thing we value about that individual is the way they look and what they have. And that is not something to build a life on. Also, very often those are the two things that a child doesn't have a lot of power over. They didn't choose how tall they were, or if they have acne, or if they have curly hair or straight hair, or how much money they have and how the family might choose to use that money, whether on clothes or toys or vacations. And so it kind of is a free fall if all we do is level 1 affirmations, and it can build a sense of insecurity. Or so I have been told by many of my campers and staff, and also I have felt that way too.
Gosh, it seems like as you were talking, I was thinking about the comments that kids put on each other's photos.
Oh, yes.
You know, it's always like, oh, beautiful. You're such a, I don't know the right words, but it's always these like very level 1 compliments, basically. They're just about, oh my gosh, you're gorgeous, you know, all those kind of things. But you're right. As you were talking, I was thinking about how even just yesterday, you know, I had a little speaking thing and I, you know, put a little extra effort into my outfit. Like I wore real pants, not jeans.
You did look awesome, by the way.
Thank you. And my husband goes, wow, you look really professional today. And, you know, he's not a big affirmer or whatever about that. And I was like, oh, really? Like he noticed.
Yes. And that feels good.
It does. Right. It does. So there's nothing wrong with level 1 affirmations. And in fact, like you said, you feel good when someone comments. You know, if that's something that they say to you, that's fine. But tell us now about sort of one level up from that, what you would call a level 2 affirmation.
Sure. Well, a level 2 affirmation would be words that worth, value, and importance lies in one's performance or one's accomplishments. Example would be, you fixed your hair so cute today. So it's in the accomplishment or the performance. Or instead of the cool skateboard, perhaps, wow, you were amazing at the skate park today. You really tore it up. It's in what our kids are doing, and that comes really easily to parents. Parents kind of hover in level 2 a lot. And at camp, because camp is such an active place with new and fun activities to try, we often emphasize that skill that they learned, or if they dropped into the half pipe or got up on the water ski. School is full of level 2s. You got an A, you were the first one in the race, and it's awesome to affirm that in a child, but our kids are buried by the sense that they have to outperform and they have to accomplish way beyond what any reasonable expectation is. And if we get stuck at level 2, many kids have told me, I feel like I'm only noticed at home when we win. I feel like I'm, only get praise and attention when I bring home an A. And I know their parents do not mean to be communicating that, but affirmations get stuck at level 2 where we value and shine the light on the importance almost exclusively of accomplishments and performance. We're doing our kids a great disservice.
Well, and I think I will say that this is probably how most of us were raised.
Yes.
And I think what the end result, or one of the results of that, is really high expectations for ourselves that can get to a destructive level called perfectionism, where we feel like no matter what we do, it's never enough. If we're not the best, if we haven't, done more than somebody else, I don't know, whatever it is, like sent more emails, stayed up later, sewing costumes for a play, whatever it is, we feel like we just need to keep doing more and more and more. It's never enough because that's what people mention about us. Mm-hmm. Like they'll say, oh, she works so hard. She, whatever, did more volunteer hours at school than any other parent in the school or whatever it might be. And, we all have this fundamental need to be valued, right? We want people to notice us and see us and value us. And if what we think we're being valued for is what we do or what we accomplish, which many of us, I think, were raised that way.
I'm raising my hand right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's almost universal, honestly. Yeah. Like there's very few parents who knew how to do level 3 affirmations in the 1970s yes. or whatever we were raised. But I think, I don't know, I really think this is so important of a lesson for me. And like you said, even now with my adult friends, with adult children, just remembering always to remind people that it's not what we do or what we have that makes us a valuable, important person.
Exactly.
And so that's where these wonderful, life-giving level 3 affirmations come in. So tell us about those, Sarah.
Okay. Well, level 3 are words that convey there is worth, value, and importance in one's efforts, in one's character, in one's very being. Examples, drawing on the previous ones I was giving, rather than complimenting someone on their cute hair or how they fix their hair, what about considering that they spent an hour doing all of their cabin mates or their siblings' hair for the dressy dinner? And to be able to say, I so appreciate the time you took to do your friend's hair. They all are so proud of what they look like, and the time you spent and your kindness and generosity really stand out to me. I admire that about you. Well, now it's no longer about the hair, but someone, hopefully, that they look up to admires their kindness and their generosity. That's what I want campers to go home with. That's what I want my kids to hear in my own family. Going back to that skateboard example, if a kid tore it up, down at the skate park and I got to see it, what if I said, I admire how hard you've been working to improve your skating skills. You've been out there every day. You fall, you get back up. I appreciate your grit and your resilience and your determination. I admire that a lot. And I know that you can use those character traits in anything you do. I'm so proud of you. Now it's not about the skateboard, as fancy and new as it is. But if that child knows that they have resilience, and the next time they come up against something hard, they know they can try again. Man, that's where I really want to go. And so at camp, we build in several times each week opportunities that really lend themselves to a level 3. I will say that you have to know someone pretty well to give a level 3. It doesn't come, you can't say it right when they come off the bus. You can't say it if you haven't been with them and watched them. So they really are authentic and they take time. And some of us are not wordsmiths, and words come hard to us. And for those staff members, and actually for some parents I've worked with, I have them they write it down and they put it on a sticky note or on a napkin in a lunch. Or I had one mom who just is not a woman of words, and she was so sad because she had a kiddo whose love language was words. And so she did a really beautiful canvas at Costco with the character qualities that she had seen in her daughter that year. So that every time Lisa woke up, that she put it in her room with a bow. It wasn't even a special, like a birthday. It was just there. When she woke up, that's what she would see. And, level 3, that kiddo knows mom sees my generosity or my humility or my cleverness or my ingenuity or my patience. So that's level 3.
And what a great gift.
Oh, I know.
I was just thinking, like, those word bubbles. And did she design one of those things, like or was it just the words? Because there are so many beautiful, like, pieces of art almost now from words that are, you can like generate these things with shapes and cool things. That is such a beautiful idea, and what an amazing gift. To get and to keep forever. Oh my gosh, treasure forever.
And what if you did it, even annually? The word that child has inspired in you and your partner, So, but they're all those level 3 traits which are transferable, which can't be taken away with money or with a bad hair day. These things are, sticking. I will say sometimes my staff will get a little tongue-tied, or I've had parents say, I got anxious and I didn't know what to say. A simpler way to look at level 3 would consider praise the process that your child went through to accomplish something or to be something. And if I'm looking at the process, I'm looking at determination, perseverance, grit, inclusivity, kindness, forgiveness, all those yummy, really deep character traits that we're all hoping our kiddos have. So think of the process, and at least one word will bounce out, and then find a time to say that to them. And you can say it publicly, like in front of others, but often I'll whisper it to a kiddo just between, him and me, and it feels like a kind of a special secret or treasure.
Hi, Sunshine Parenting listeners. This is this week's commercial break telling you about my book, Happy Campers, 9 Summer Camp Secrets for Raising Kids Who Become Thriving Adults. For me, the very best part about writing this book and putting it out into the world is getting feedback from readers. I'm going to share this week a brand new Amazon review from Ruth Gerson. Her title, A Powerful Book for Parents and Mental Health. She says, such a powerful book. As a parent and a child mental health specialist, I found Monkey's tips incredibly helpful and actionable. This book is an important antidote to the disconnection and anxiety kids and parents face in our screen-obsessed culture. I have 2 favors to ask. First, if you think you might be interested in Happy Campers, visit Happy Campers Book for more information. Second, if you already have your copy and have started reading it, I would really appreciate you taking a moment to visit Amazon and write a quick review of Happy Campers. I'm currently up to 39 customer reviews, and I really appreciate each and every one. Thank you so much. Well, I heard you give 2 last night because we were at this dinner together. But when you were talking to our mutual friend, Kara, and you were sharing a story about her son. I guess it was kind of a level 3 affirmation for him. But as a parent, hearing about your child's kindness to another is, to me, like, I feel like it's level 3.
It was absolutely.
Because it's like to have someone, maybe a moment or something that you hadn't seen yourself even, to be able to be told, to me, that's a level 3. Because like when your child is demonstrating that kind of kindness, that's been affirmed in them when they were growing up. So why don't you just like briefly tell that story of this like star basketball player and what you saw him say to your son back in 7th grade many years ago?
It was many years ago, and just by chance, Kara's son was on my son's basketball team. It was middle school basketball. It was randomly put together. My son had never played basketball. Her son is a very gifted athlete. And it was near the end of the game, and my son got in for a few minutes, and I could tell he was so nervous because he wasn't very experienced. And her son, his name is Ryan, he bothered to get the ball to my son. And my son dribbled a little bit, made a shot, or attempted a shot. And, it was not a good shot. But right after, and it went out of bounds, right afterwards, Ryan went over to my son and tapped him on the back or patted him on the shoulder and said, "Hey, that was a good try." And my son said, "Sorry about that." And he said, "No problem," or "No biggie." But to have like the star of the, 7th grade team give you the ball and then be so kind and patient and affirming about it, I will never forget that moment. And I wanted Kara to know that that is my lasting, that's how I feel about her son, even though he's off to college and he's killing it. But that kindness piece for him meant everything.
So just think so in yours and my perfect world, coaches would be pointing out that after the game. Pointing out those things, because again, if we had teachers and coaches focused on when they see those moments that someone is demonstrating one of those traits that we so want to build up in our kids, like kindness or generosity or patience, to point it out and say it, that's going to grow it. And I would contend that even it's really important for parents to do it, but when kids hear those kind of affirmations from another adult who gets to know them, it's really powerful because, they think we're supposed to say it because we're their parents. And when they hear from a camp counselor or a teacher or a coach some kind of level 3 affirmation, that could literally change the course of their life.
I've actually had grown young adults tell me that. They have said to me, "I remember when I was a freshman in high school at camp and you told me this about me. I didn't know that." And we have our counselors write letters home after each session telling parents some of the growth and some of the qualities they've seen in their kids. And I've had many, many parents say, "I hadn't seen that," or "I've been so caught up," and I get this, "I've been so caught up in making sure they're not falling behind or they're achieving that I forgot to see the beauty of this quality or that quality." And I know for me, when someone level 3s me,
it's now a verb.
It is. Oh, it feels so good. I have to add this just because it was so humorous. The last day of each session, we all dress up and we have a banquet at camp. And I had a counselor a few years back, and she saw me, and I really had cleaned up well, I will say. And she saw me from across camp, and she yelled, "Hey, Salsa," which is my camp name, "level 1," meaning I looked good. So that became our thing. She would just bark at me, "level 1."
Yeah, like when you take a shower at camp or dry your hair. People are like, you get a comment.
I did. I combed my hair that day too. It was awesome.
I love that. It's very simple at camp to get a hello. I love that though. But when you think about that too, the ripple effect of training your counselors in this language, because they'll go back and in their families and with their friends, and when they become parents or if they become teachers or coaches or whatever they do, they understand now the power of this. It's magical. And then you also, your second one, you gave me one last night.
I did?
That I was like, I felt like it was one when you said that I come alongside
bring us along.
And I was, or an includer. I don't even know what that is.
You're an includer.
And it's so funny because I was like, that is me. I'm a together person. Like I like to do things, and I love that we know each other so well that you know that about me, that is who I am. Like I do like doing things and I'm an achiever, but I much prefer doing it with someone else.
Well, and you've done it so much, and you've raised us all up in doing so, and it really stands out to me, your ability to include and to bring us along, and the modeling that does for everyone else is pretty special. I'm glad I said that.
I know. It meant a lot to me because I wasn't like, you weren't supposed to be saying something because I was thinking of all the camps, but then you said something.
I butted in.
You did, but in a good way. But it's really a gift, and it's obviously something that we have to practice. Absolutely. And you've been practicing for 22 years, so we all have some catching up to do. But I think it's very worthwhile for us to all work on this skill of giving level 3 affirmations.
How do you think, what would be some good ways for parents to practice?
Well, I really like, just for you, I mean, you've taught me so much about strengths, and sort of, there's a lot of overlap here in mining for strengths and really taking the time to notice our kids and who they are and what makes them tick. Because kids, right from the beginning, just show their stripes. You know what I mean? In fact, today is the day we're recording is my daughter Charlotte's 21st birthday. And she is...
Happy birthday, Charlotte.
I know. This, of course. Well, it'll still be the end of her birthday week when this comes out. But she has been, since the beginning of her life, this spark plug of like bright light of joy and fun and energy. She is the party wherever she goes.
You're absolutely right.
And so like in our home, always when, growing up and stuff, I mean, she just always had the wackiest things going on, and just, she's the one who like cranks up the music and it's like time for everyone to dance, and she is making voices, and she's coming up with crazy games, and and today her older sister Meredith, who is the very thoughtful, very observant, does not like to be on stage, is always thinking about others and making sure everyone's comfortable, put together this montage video of Charlotte. I mean, being Charlotte, goofing around in these videos most of them are from quite a long time ago, dancing, singing, saying funny things. I mean, it's like this string of, it must be like 15 or 16 different things that I'm watching this, just laughing and smiling and just going, oh my gosh, she has been like this literally since she was born and didn't want to sit still in her chair. She was like, as soon as she could say me too, and yes, I want to go, and what can we do, and where's the party? And I saw that and I just thought, oh my gosh, like she's always been like that. So I think for parents, it's taking the kid you have, the way you word it is so good, loving the child you have.
Loving the child you have, not wishing for the child you don't. Or just really delighting in who your child is, not longing for who they aren't.
And especially with siblings, and we've talked about this in our other episodes, when you have, oftentimes, now I'm not a birth order expert, but I will say there seems to be some correlation between firstborns being somewhat really on like high often achiever. The path. Yes. That is like the most prescribed, or I don't know, you know what I mean? Like the one that like society deems like this is the way, the grades and everything. And that's not always true. But when you have, a child like that, and then you have one or more other kids who have their own unique, amazing qualities that are different, I think it's really important for parents to look at them and say like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what our family would be like without your unbelievable fun. Like boring we would be, you know what I mean? Like, or I am so thankful we have your thoughtfulness, because you're the one who thinks of, on Thanksgiving, getting out the warm fuzzy sheets and spends hours getting them ready for everybody. You know what I mean? And you have your sweet daughter who did the dishes the other night. Do you remember? Tell that story. Like the thoughtfulness of her.
My husband and I were out late at this conference, and we were tired, and we came home, and she had done the dishes and cleaned the kitchen. It just gave us both such a sense of, and she had just done it so well and had already put herself to bed. And so we both separately had to thank her just because we were so delighted that she would do that, and her responsibility and her thoughtfulness. We got to call that out, and it was good.
And it's not a label, as you said. It's not like saying like, this is you and this is all there is to you, because we all have, many different traits. But I think bringing to the surface and naming for our kids some of those character traits for them is so helpful, because they are, in most cases, the ones that they're going to be able to use, or they're going to want to use them just to do great things, whatever those great things are.
Mm-hmm.
They'll use those traits. They'll use their kindness. They'll use their energy. They'll use their gift for seeing what's going on, or for organizing events, or for including people. They're going to use those skills everywhere in their life, but not if they're not
called out.
We
need to name them. We need to help kids name them. And sometimes they don't even know what the word is.
I know.
I was praising a child for his determination and perseverance. And he didn't know what perseverance was yet.
Right.
He was just a little guy. And so how fun to teach that word.
Yes.
Yes. It's a great challenge for me. A lot of times when I have an opportunity to affirm someone, I'll say, how can I say it differently, or how can I say it more deeply? A high schooler stepped off the stage after a remarkable performance in a play, and everybody was giving her flowers and hugging her. You were amazing. You were awesome. You were beautiful. And I pulled her aside. She was a camper of mine, so I knew her well. I had a voice there. I didn't make it up. And I said, thank you for finding that character in yourself. I really feel like I know her. That was hard work, and I really admire how well you did that. So that's what I said to her, and I remember because I was really moved by her character. And then I let her get back to the hoo-ha of the noise and everything. But, how else can we say it? How can we say it more deeply?
Mm-hmm. So maybe it just takes a breath. Maybe it's a note, whatever it is. But I love this lesson for us. And I think just going, in this month where, thinking more about gratitude, what better way than to show our gratitude for another human being than by giving them a level 3 affirmation.
That's a great idea. All the way around the table.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, whether it's, with family members or whatever, work, wherever we are.
Note. Yeah, yes. Just a reminder of this is how I see you.
And just remember that those are the things that, unfortunately, for many of us, they've come few and far between. Those kind of things. We've gotten more of the level 2s.
Lots of level 2s and too many level 1s sometimes.
Yes.
And with social media, which is virtually all level 1, we got to keep it rolling.
So we got to go deep. Level 3 is the deep. Okay. Well, I'm going to work on my level 3s, and I so appreciate you sharing this. And thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us once again, Sara. It's been awesome having you on.
It's so fun to be here. Thank you for including me.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I really enjoy my conversations with Sara, and this episode really reminded me about another topic that it relates to, which is focusing on our kids' strengths. Sara and I did an episode on that topic last year, and I will definitely put a link in the show notes for this episode to our episode on strengths. As always, you can find notes, links, and quotes from this episode by visiting my website at sunshine-parenting.com. Search for episode 115. If you'd like to get access to all of my resources, as well as get a reminder when a new podcast episode is up, you can subscribe to my weekly email by texting the word HAPPY to 345345. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Sunshine Parenting Podcast. I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you, raising a generation of kids who become thriving adults.
This podcast is a proud member of Parents on Demand, a network of high-quality shows for families just like yours. Download our free network app on Apple and Android and listen to your favorite episodes on the go.